If you have no baby, you might not understand what I'm about to say. There is something deadly happening in our hospitals, but you won't hear it in the news. A mother walked in holding her baby. That baby is barely 6 weeks old. It's time for the first real set of vaccines: pentavalent, polio, pneumococcal, rotavirus. That little jab that starts the journey of protecting a child from deadly diseases that we have fought for decades to control. But instead, she hears one word: hatuna. No vaccines, no timelines, no answers. That child came for protection and went home exposed. That mother came for assurance and left with fear. Now, that baby has no protection from tetanus, no protection from hepatitis B, no defense against whooping cough, pneumonia, or even measles. Not because the mother forgot, not because she didn't care, but because what should be there isn't. Let that sink in for a minute. We are not talking about luxuries here. We are talking about the bare minimum. Vaccines that used to be free, available, routine. Today some parents are being told to pay between 2,000 and 8,000 Kenya shillings per vaccine. That's before transport, before formula, before rent. Imagine holding your baby in one hand and a prescription in the slip in another, with a price that you cannot afford. The Kenyan vaccine schedule is simple but life-saving. At birth, BCG and polio. At 6 weeks, pentavalent, PCV, polio again, and rotavirus. At 10 weeks, second doses. At 14 weeks, third round. At 9 months, measles and yellow fever. That's the timeline that gives that child a fair start, a fighting chance. But what happens when one dose is delayed? What happens when a disease like measles creeps back into a school, a village, a slum? We don't just lose protection, we lose trust, we lose time, and we lose children. This is not an attack, it's a question, a reflection, a call. Because when vaccines disappear, diseases don't. They wait, they spread, and then they take. What are we saying to mothers when we tell them, come back next week? What future are we offering our children when their first layer of protection is optional, delayed, or sold? This is about life, about dignity, about a promise we made long ago that no Kenyan child should die from a disease we already have a vaccine for. To every parent who's scared, you're not alone. To every health worker who feels helpless, we see you. And to every child still waiting for that little jab of hope, we haven't forgotten you. Let's remember, we promised our children that we would show up for them even when the systems fail, that we would speak for them even when they cannot speak for themselves. Let's restore access. Let's restore hope. Let's protect the next generation. 30 days waiting period is enough to effect or kill a child.